everybody. I just want to say I'm back. I'm back making ASMR videos, and I'm also back making historical ASMR video thingies. So yeah, I took a long break. Then I thought I was going to do something else with the channel, but now I'm thinking like, no, the channel should remain history and chill, and it should remain historical ASMR, and also I want to add a philosophical touch as well. I'm hoping the audio is good. I'm recording outside, as you can see, in this lovely piece of nature that I'm lucky enough to live nearby. So I hope you guys also enjoy nature sounds as well. I hope it's not too windy. I hope this thing kind of covers up the wind. But we'll see. We'll see. So anyways, I was thinking, I'm outside in a wooded area. So it should be, the facts that I'm going to talk about today should be linked towards wooded areas, specifically around World War II. So I'm just kind of thinking, am I going to do like a summing up of the facts, or am I just going to talk about the things that I know about them, because that's also kind of fun, like a sort of rambling video. I don't know. I guess we'll do something of the of both those things. Okay, so I'm just we done the intro, so I just restarted recording, and now I guess we'll get to the facts. Fact number one. I prepared a little list here to help me with my memory, which is so bad. But yeah, fact number one is the most known fact, I think, if you think about woods and World War II, is that the Battle of the Ardennes Forest took place. It was in 1944, as you guys all know. It's also nicknamed the Battle of the Bulge. And yeah, it was a really bloody battle, I think. I'm just gonna yap about it a little bit. I do remember that it was unexpected as well, because the troops that were present where they got attacked, where the Allies got attacked, were actually troops that were on leave. They were like resting, and nobody expected the Germans to perform an attack, to do an offensive. So it took the Allies by surprise. And I also know that the weather was really bad. It was really foggy, and which is why the Allies also couldn't send air support and support the troops on the ground, which was a really determining factor as well, and also really added to the German successes that they the short-lived successes of the attack that they booked, because the offensive failed from the Germans, but it really took the Allies by surprise, which is why they kind of had some momentum. I guess that's how you say it in English. Not really sure, but yeah. The circumstances for the soldiers were really bad as well. It was a really cold winter here in Belgium, and I actually went to visit the forest where I guess it's Easy Company, where Easy Company was stationed in the Battle of the Bulge, and yeah, it's a really it's weird to visit it. To visit the site where you know that they have been fighting a lot, and people say you can still find bullets inside the trees, and yeah, it just goes to show must have been absolute hell, especially if you counter in the fact the cold temperatures, the foggy weather, the surprise of it all, the surprise attack must have been scary, really scary. to be a soldier there. Yeah, moving on to fact number 2. That's actually a kind of lesser known battle in wooded areas. It's called the Hürtgen Forest Battle in Germany. And it also took place in 1944. It was fought between American troops and German troops. I do not know that much about the battle as well. I just looked up the fact and wrote it down because I thought it was interesting. But I should have read more into it so I could tell you more. But anyways, moving on to fact number 3. Fact number 3 is actually, as I mentioned before in a previous video, the reason why this video kind of exists in the first place. There were a lot of partisan troops near Poland, and that existed out of people that escaped the death trains. They jumped off the trains into the woods, and they formed communities there. There's also a really good movie about it called Defiance. It's really good. You should really watch it if you haven't seen it. I can't remember the movie that well because it was a long time ago, but I do remember I thought it was good. And also it showed the community that they formed inside these woods, completely blocked out of society because they weren't welcome in society, you know. And they performed partisan activities in those wooded areas. What I mean by that is that they sabotaged train tracks, but also they did a lot more ammunition, information towards how do you say it in English? They sent intel towards the allies, everything to kind of block the war effort of the Germans, which I think is really there's one thing to escape a death train, but then actively fighting against that evil that could also just startle you. You know, you also could be so afraid that you don't do anything, but then taking action against it. It's really brave. I think it's really it shows how brave humans can be in circumstances, in difficult circumstances, and I think it's kind of inspirational for the human species. People that had the guts to perform sabotage acts, or that were in the resistance and stuff like that. I always admired stories about resistance fighters and choosing to be against the oppressor whilst everybody's being oppressed. You know that if you get caught, you get tortured, you're going through hell, you know. So it's really inspirational, the kind of bravery that resistance fighters showed. I was kind of yapping about it, so I guess I'll move on to the next fact, which is let me just take a sneak peek. About Operation Barbarossa. That the German forces, they were struggling to get through European forests and Russia as well, which kind of entirely halted their advance into Russia. Especially when the autumn came, it got way harder to advance the troops, and that was also due to forests. That's why I added the fact. But I guess it's not really entirely true, because it is true, but there are many factors why Operation Barbarossa did not work. I also once read a story, but you can never be sure that it's 100% legit, but I think it is. I think it's kind of fact proven. I think it'd probably be a fact, but I know that the Nazi top, they wanted to hurt Stalin. They wanted to show kill Russian morale. And they, especially Hitler, he wanted to capture Stalingrad because Stalingrad was like a symbolical move. They did not need it strategically wise, and they were close to Moscow. And if they had reached Moscow, probably the war would have ended differently. But because he was so like obsessed with ideological things, he wanted to capture Stalingrad, to like show Stalin that he had completely dominated him. But then they diverted towards Stalingrad, they split up, and that's where Stalingrad happened. And as you know, it did not end well for the Germans. So yeah, it's interesting about that as well. But the initial fact still is, like, regards to the woods and all, that a lot of wooded areas stopped the advance of Nazi Germany into Russia, especially in autumn times where it got all muddy. A factor that they did not really take into account. Yeah. Let's move on. Another famous forest in Poland is actually one, I think it's the forest of the partisan troops as well. It's called, I have to read it because I don't speak Polish, obviously. The WW2 forest, I'm guessing it's something like that. I'll probably butcher the pronunciations of that. But that forests and those lot of forests like around the death camps and in Poland and stuff like that was also the site of a lot of massacres performed by the Germans, which like really horrifying stories, you know, like also not in Poland, but I'm not sure where, it's Eastern Europe somewhere. The Einsatzgruppen, it's also like there's this documentary about it, and it's so weird. The people that perform like mass executions, you always think that they were like, you know, completely insane or something. But this documentary, it shows that those were like, I don't know, like bakers, plumbers, and people just from the German Empire back then, the Nazi German Empire, and it's crazy to think that they were like they left like memoirs, and in those memoirs you can read how they are struggling with their actions, but kind of like they do it because they do it out of sort of camaraderie. It's really weird because the people, the Einsatztruppe that performed these executions, I thought they weren't like specifically they weren't like directly what do you say? They weren't like directly held at gunpoint, and it's not like their superiors said, "Van, if you don't do this, you get shot." They also like they weren't told like that they had to do it, but if they didn't do it, then the comrades, so the other German soldiers, they had to do it, or they would like bully them because they would get menial jobs, you know. Like if you didn't perform these executions, then you get jobs like you have to clean the toilets and stuff like that, which is like kind of like social status that was really important during these horrific scenes, you know. And it also shows that the people who were there were kind of like, before they went there, kind of like normal citizens. They weren't specifically hateful or something. They just got drafted and they got the option or to work for the secret police, and they didn't really know what it meant, but they knew that they had to go on missions after the areas were like conquered. But in the memoirs they say that they didn't know that they will have to perform these executions, but they also were never like directly ordered to do them. There was some sort of like social hierarchy. I mean, like social pressure thing that they all did it, and the ones that didn't do it, they got bullied real bad because of the others. I mean, like they were like degraded, and people saw them as weak. They had to do like stupid menial tasks, which is why a lot of people that were new there or in those Einsatztruppe, that they did it because, I mean, humans, they want to belong in a group, you know, and it's just really interesting to see how humans can perform such evil things just because of like a social pressure, or it's really interesting to see, but it's really scary as well. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. I forgot where I was in the video with the fact numbers. I don't know. I mean, like, fact number 6 is Japanese forces. They used, like in the Pacific Theater, it's kind of an obvious one. They used the jungle and forests as part of their tactics. Especially in the Philippines, it says here. I'm guessing it's like some sort of guerrilla warfare, like bonsai attacks out of the woods, which also must have been really terrifying. Especially if you look at like Imperial Japan, people, they, if we think about World War II, it's often that, how do I say it? I often have this feeling that some people kind of forget that Imperial Japan was so evil in many ways, you know. And if you got caught as like a POW, you are in for a bad time, you know. So all I'm saying is like, yeah, it must have been, actually the entire World War II must have been a horrific sight, but I don't know, I was just kind of imagining being like an American soldier in Japanese territory, like bonsai attacks and stuff. It must have been incredibly horrifying. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to fact number 7. Forests in France and Germany were key sites for camouflaged V-weapon launch sites, especially V1 and V2 rockets. Yeah, I know that the V2 rockets, I believe they added sounds, but correct me if I'm wrong here, but they added like the sounds to it just to make it more terrifying. And that's also like, to me, those things, when I hear them, I'm like, what is up with humans sometimes? I mean, like, adding sounds to bombs as if they are not scary enough, but like adding a recognizable sound so people know there will be a bomb. It's just so evil, and, you know, it's yeah, I don't know. I also know that, yeah, my grandmother, she once told me a story about a V2 rocket hitting somewhere near Antwerp, but it was really vague. I read the V2 rocket, but I cannot reconstruct the story that she told me, but yeah. Anyways, we'll move on, because I feel like I've been yapping enough this video. Yeah, move on to fact number 8. Allied bombers often dropped leaflets or supplies in wooded areas for partisans or resistant fighters to pick up and distribute in the society of occupied territory. Yeah. And number 9, in Normandy, the dense bocage country created chaotic close-range fighting right after D-Day. Something I'll have to look up again if I want to read more about it, because that's also not something that I know a lot about. Yeah, and then the last fact that I wrote down is basically, I already said it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. But like, forest provided cover for a lot of hiding refugees that wanted to escape, their fate, and they lived like for long times in those wooded areas, not knowing that the war would end. I mean, like they probably got intel if they were organized, but I feel like often when we think about World War II, we're like, yeah, but it lasted 5 years, depending on where you live. But people didn't know it back then, and refugees inside wooded areas, they wouldn't know a thing. So in your perspective, right there, you're probably hoping the war would end in favor of the Allies, but you don't know. And you also have this thought that, like, shall I live here forever, or will they capture me again? It must have been really horrifying, all those experiences. But anyways, those were 10 facts. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a lot of yapping I did in this video as well. I am really happy to make another fact video ASMR style. I don't really know why I quit and why I stopped. I guess I just kind of get busy at work and stuff, you know how it goes. Yeah, I'm happy to be back, and for sure there will be more videos coming. I just know I have this urge to create things. I always create things. I create music as well, and stuff like that. Music and running videos, everything. But I just woke up yesterday and I was like, oh man, I really should do another ASMR video, and it should be in the woods about partisans, or facts about World War II that are related to woodland regions. So anyways, I guess that kind of wraps this video up. I hope to see you in the next video, and if you like this video, just leave a comment, like and subscribe. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that you are watching me again talking about historical facts. Bye.